Hey guys, it's Jenny and Mimi, the founders of the naughtynutritionist.com, where we're all about teaching you easy tips and strategies on how to lose weight and feel amazing in your body without giving up on all the fine foods in life. And speaking of fine foods, today marks a very, very special episode for us in our Sugar Talk series. So you guys know how much we love our vino, and here we go. And our chocolate.
Yes,
today.
My chocolate too.
And we really wouldn't be nutritionists if we didn't discuss one of the most controversial topics, we'd say, in the nutrition industry these days, and that's sugar. So we all like sugar, honestly. Even we like our sugar because it adds flavor, it adds sweetness, it's delicious. And honestly, it's in virtually everything. So even things we don't realize. We know, most of us already know that it's one of the leading contributors to obesity, diabetes, and heart disease. But overconsumption of sugar can also contribute to a lot of other issues, such as digestive issues, imbalances in your gut, compromised immune system, so you might be getting sick more often, imbalanced hormones, allergies, hyperactivity, as probably Jenny, you would know maybe from Olivia, if she ever gets it, sugar dose, and fatigues. So sugar really makes us happy. It lights up our brain centers. It causes us to want to eat more and more. And of course, over time, it can do a lot of damage if overconsumed. So a lot of what we're going to talk about today is refined sugars, which is what is found in most processed food in any case. So we can't really praise sugar the way a baker might praise sugar, but we also don't want to vilify it. So with that being said, we're going to be talking a bit about how sugar works in the body, especially how it's related to weight gain, and how we can maintain a healthy relationship with sugar and chocolate as part of our lifestyle in our diet.
Yeah, so it might not be the most exciting episode because we're kind of going to break down what sugar is, just so you can understand it, understand how it works in the body and our body's response to sugar and to too much sugar. So the first thing we kind of want to touch base on is where sugar comes from, because we don't really think about it. It's just there. It's sweet. We add it to things to make our things sweeter. But what sugar essentially is, white sugar, table sugar. It's a simple carbohydrate, and it's usually derived from beetroot, corn, or the sugar cane. It's extracted, refined, and then processed into those white granules that you see today, like the little sugar packets, or when you buy it in a big bag and it comes out very white and crystallized. So the most common sugars that are used in mass production are known as glucose, which is the type of sugar that actually travels throughout the bloodstream, and then fructose, fruit sugar, and also what you find in high fructose corn syrup. And then the two of these combined together, the glucose and the fructose, is what makes table sugar or sucrose. So don't know if that interests you or not, but it is what it is, and we need to get it out there. What is interesting, though, is that the average person in North America consumes more than 53 pounds of sugar every year. So I don't know if you know how much that is, but it's quite a bit. For calorie weight, that's about 260 calories or more a day. And it is quite a bit. So the reason why we do have a tendency to consume that much sugar on average is because that it sneaks its way into a lot of our everyday food items, especially prepackaged foods. And that's why we give this whole, try to not have such a processed diet because there's sugar everywhere. For example, dressings, condiments, your cakes, pastries, obviously. Even people don't really think about this, but it's in white and whole wheat processed bread. Like Wonder Bread, even if you're getting the whole wheat stuff, look at the ingredients. There will be sugar on that package. Cereal, and yes, the kids' most common cereal brands are really, really high in sugar. But even when you go to like the oat brands, the things that are claiming to be more natural, they still have a ton of sugar in them. So always check that. Drinks, sodas, those packaged smoothies, really high in sugar. Juices, granola bars, and sauces. Like there are so many processed foods out there that contain sugar. So just keep that in mind. It is everywhere. We might not think we're consuming a lot of sugar, but if you're eating a high processed diet, you probably are. Going back to our little 260 calories of sugar a day or more, the American Heart Association actually recommends that females consume up to like a maximum of 6 teaspoons of added sugar a day, and males 9 teaspoons of added sugar a day. So that's the upper limit. So that 260 calories that was given as an example, that's close to 70 grams of sugar a day. So the average person in America is consuming 70 grams or more of sugar a day when it's only recommended to consume between 6 and 9 grams. So that is a huge amount of sugar. Sugar is everywhere. And I'm just going to give you one example right now because I have my chocolate bar here and I took it out with the label on it. Just a quick example. I have chocolate every single night. I tend to have about 3 or 4 squares because that's all I need because it's dark chocolate is so rich. But on the package, it says here that per 10 squares of chocolate, that is 12 grams of sugar. Okay, so just giving it to you in teaspoons, that's about 3 teaspoons. So if you're having a whole chocolate bar, I don't even know how many, maybe that's a third of a chocolate bar. So that's 9. So if you're a female eating even dark chocolate, the whole thing, you're already going over what the AHA is recommending. Yeah. So that's just a little example, and that's a breakdown of where sugar is and what it is.
That was great. Yeah, I actually had as well my bar, and I was looking. It does have a bit of fiber, which is better for you. Obviously, the dark chocolate, but again, even with these, we have to be careful. And actually, I was out this afternoon, and this reminded me, and we're going to talk about this a bit later, but sometimes balancing out how you're having sugar is important. So I was having a coffee. I usually have a coffee with almond milk. And in those coffee shops, typically what I'd imagine is the almond milk they use does have a bit of added sugar.
I think so, yeah. Or the vanilla one.
Yeah. So I wanted to have a brownie with that. So what I did is, instead of having the coffee with the almond milk and the brownie, I simply took black coffee, at least to cut down on the sugar there. And I still had my brownie. So in a way,
balance.
I'm skipping the chocolate today, but I've had enough. I've had my dose. So we only have 20 minutes here, I think, because we try to keep it short and sweet every week. So we can't get into everything, but what we want to focus on is on sugar and weight gain and what happens with that. We'll try to keep it simple, like the breakdown of how blood sugar works. But yeah, if you get confused, just free to pop in a question below. Yeah. So for example, if you have a simple sugar, so let's say you have a can of soda, you have a cookie or some candy, that sugar has to make its way into your cells so that your cells can use it for energy. But to get into the cells, your pancreas will produce insulin. So insulin, it essentially acts something like a bellhop for the sugar molecules, so that it helps to open the door so that the sugar can get inside the cell. So when you have too much sugar, so let's say you had that can of soda, you had it together with a cookie because you were starving, and let's see what happens. So if you have more glucose. So once the sugar is in your body, as Jenny was saying, it turns into glucose. And if you have more than what your cells need, insulin would take that extra blood glucose and it transports it into fat storage. So this way, insulin is able to lower your blood sugar levels, but it's storing whatever you didn't need into fat. And when insulin continuously rises and spikes, then more fat is being stored. So that happens to us. If you imagine having that, it's probably going to keep you full for about, I don't know, another hour or two. And then there's going to be a blood sugar dip again. You're going to want more sugar. And it's just like a continuous process. So one of the most important elements in maintaining weight loss or weight management is to avoid those spikes in insulin and to balance those levels, to balance your blood sugar levels. So yeah, I think that's it in like a simple way.
Breakdown.
That's very simple breakdown. So within that, many of us would know that if we have a blood sugar imbalance, you can really feel it. So it's happened to me a lot. And I used to get lightheadedness, irritability. I would get shaky. I would get cranky. And you just want your next dose of sugar.
Yeah. The hanger.
Yeah, the hanger.
Actually, the hanger, though, I still, to this day, even though I have a healthy diet, if I don't eat, because I like to have about 6 small meals a day. If I go a big chunk without eating, I can feel that still. So you got to keep it balanced. Yeah. Or else you're hangry. So yeah, it's a lot of science. And that's why we do this, is because with nutrition, you're also studying science and studying the way that it all works. But blood sugars play a huge part in weight loss and maintaining weight loss and managing your weight. So it is very important to understand how it all works in order to understand how to properly manage your blood sugar levels. And it's not just like, blood sugars are not just for people who are diabetic. It is for everybody who has a tendency to eat too much sugar. So the fun part in all of that is trying to figure out how to deal with it in a healthy way and how to make healthy replacements, or just snack a little bit healthier, eat a little bit healthier in order to balance it all out. So we're not about making sugar a villain. That's not what we want to accomplish in this, because we do like our sweet treats too. But we try to make our sweet treats just a little bit better for us and for you guys. And we try to add that protein and fiber in it to kind of keep everything balanced. So how do we deal with sugar? Number one, you just got to consume less. If you're going to eat a lot of sugar, it's going to be really hard to get the weight off. And that's bottom line, right? You eat too much sugar, you have a problem with that. And not just with weight loss and weight management, but with an imbalance in gut bacteria and all of those other symptoms that we described before, and all of those other health complications. Just too much sugar is not good, especially when you take a look at the North American diet. So just try to consume a little bit less sugar. That's the first way. The second way is to balance your blood sugars with protein, fiber, and healthy fats. So protein and fiber and healthy fats, they create healthier levels of glucose in the blood. And what was once a quick release carb, it kind of turns it into a slower release carb. So that glucose goes into your bloodstream at a more maintained level, and the insulin goes in as well, and you don't get those that roller coaster, we call it, a blood sugar roller coaster. Some examples of snacks that do tend to balance the blood sugars because they contain that protein and fiber: nuts and seeds, dark chocolate chips, so make your own trail mix, fruit with full fat Greek yogurt. And if you want to sweeten it up a little bit because you just don't like that bitter taste of full fat Greek yogurt, you can drizzle a little bit of raw honey on top of it or maple syrup. Peanut butter chocolate cups. We have a recipe on our website for peanut butter chocolate cups. They're really delicious. They're really simple to make, and they have that protein and fiber content and healthy fats. So they'll keep your blood sugars balanced. You don't need too many of them. Chia pudding's a great one. We love our chia puddings. Stuffed peanut butter dates, rock, whole grain, low sugar muffins. If you make them yourself with a flour like spelt or oat flour, it'll be easier to not load it up with sugar. And then the third thing is exercise, because exercise helps glucose get into your muscle cells and helps improve insulin sensitivity and those spikes and drops in blood sugar levels. So yeah, that's our little introduction to sugar. The next couple weeks, it's gonna be a little bit more fun topics. We're gonna talk about healthy snacking, how to read labels. We're gonna talk about cravings. So tune in and join us over the next couple of weeks. We promise it won't be as sciencey as this episode. And if you are looking for more tips on how to lose weight without dieting, then you can download our freebie, the 10 Naughty Secrets to Never Diet Again. It will be posted in our comments and above and all over the place. It's on our website. So check it out. And if you have any questions, just pop it in the comments. We're around.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Bye, guys.